What's up, guys? It's Retals, and we are back with another Q&A with our lovely friend across the pond, Mr. ApparentlyJack. We did questions on his channel. Go check those out after this. But, Jack, hello. You're back to the Retals channel. How you doing? How you feeling in the British land?
I'm doing good. It's been a long time. This is weird.
He left us. Boo.
I know. But we're online. We're not in person for this one, so a little bit different.
I can't just like lean over and punch you or kiss you. I just have to deal with my words. So like it's been tough on me. I'll admit it. It's been tough. I've been struggling a little bit. But regardless, we got a Q&A. We got some questions. I tweeted out Q&A. You guys asked them below. I got some questions. We're going to answer them together. Jack, I got a bit of a warm-up one. This one we can definitely yap about. It's for both of us, two separate answers. For AppJack, which region do you think is harder to compete in? Of course, you could talk about that. For Retals, do you think this is the most competitive year in NA? Go on.
Okay. EU is obviously harder to compete in. There's no surprise there. It's not like... It's harder right at the top. The rest, it's not crazy.
Dude, I've been getting killed for that take. I hope you know that I've been getting absolutely killed for that take.
No, it's not. It's really not. I'd say it's pretty even. Like
what I said.
Maybe it's slightly higher, but it's not like anything to give kind of emphasis on. Yeah.
What I said was that EU top 2, I take over NA top 2. EU top 4, I take over NA top 4, and EU top 6, I take over NA top 6. After that, I think it gets pretty close. Like I really do. I don't love EU's depth after like 100% or like synergies. Like I don't know.
Fourth right now.
Yeah, seriously.
So I mean they're playing well. They're definitely a top team. Like I mean we just lost to them, so I can't say anything else. But I think that after top 8 to 16 NA is, I'd say, pretty comparable to EU. I think there's arguments for taking either of them over. So yeah, EU is definitely harder, but to make top 8s and stuff like that, I don't think it's like harder than NA, for example. To make top 4s and stuff, definitely harder.
I agree. I completely agree. Retals, do you think this is the most competitive year in NA? It depends what you mean. I think that personally, I have us, NRG, Ultimates, Complexity top 4, and I do think it drops down a tier after that. But I would say, I don't know. I feel like this is the most locked up top 4 NA has been in a while, personally. I'm biased, of course. So for that, I would say, yeah, I think like our top 4 NA teams will do pretty well internationally. Are we ahead of EU? No, I don't think so. Are we ahead of France? Obviously not. But I feel pretty comfortable and confident in the top 4 NA teams if, NRG, had a tough qual, but I feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I can answer this one. I think it's... I think it is from... Well, it has to be, right? It has to be because it's gone down to 4 major spots, right? From 2 seasons ago. So last season had 4 major spots. This season, there's been 2 seasons so far. This second season with 4 major spots. Last season, just wasn't competitive. Jesus, shut up. Can you hear that through my
Kind of, like barely. What was that?
Okay, it's a police car. Yeah. But yeah, so or an ambulance, I don't know. But yeah, so I would say that it has to be because last year you had 4 spots, but it wasn't crazy competitive.
Yeah.
And this year 4 spots, and you've got an extra top tier team coming in complexity. So
yep. Gotta
be the most competitive.
Yep. All right, this is a Jack only question. Dallas or England?
Obviously England. Dallas, I miss you guys. I miss seeing you guys. I miss the trail and a couple of
shout out Katie Trail.
Yeah, shout out Katie Trail by Dallas. But and the weather's better in Dallas. But England's obviously my home, and
understood.
Yeah, I like it here. The people are nicer in America though.
Really?
It just felt a little bit... I was just away from home, though.
Understood. I like this question a lot. Other than pay, what is your highest priority when searching for an org? Me, personally, I love boot camping. I think boot camping is one of the biggest things that, an org can provide for a team. Gen G is hooking us up. This first regional, we're boot camping out in Michigan all together, which I'm really excited for. But, other than pay, it's boot camping. Obviously, having a big, stable org that, is going to treat you well is another one. But yeah,
and it's going to pay you.
Yeah, and it's going to pay you. Go on.
I think that it has to just be the boot camp, obviously. That's it. I mean, the other things that you can, it's just the boot camp and the name of the org. That's it, really. And the trust in who they are. So,
right.
Yeah. All right, next question.
What do pro players look for when evaluating the skill of a player that casual players might not pick up? Shut up, dude. Might not pick up on.
What do pro players look for when evaluating the skill of a player that casual players might not pick up on?
What do you got? What are you thinking?
I don't know. I don't think Rocket League's not a deep game, is it? You can see when a player's good. I think that I don't know. Can you answer this one first, and maybe
I think I mean, there's a million things, right? I think the bigger ones that you really only get to see through I guess streams kind of, but mostly just pros interacting with each other is how they are as a person. I think you can pick up a lot off how a person or a player is as, a person in social aspect. Are they hardworking? Are they, loyal? Are they gonna, be good teammates? For me, that's huge. And, when picking up Cheese, we obviously had a couple other options, but he just worked incredibly hard, and he was fun to be around, which was huge for us.
Yeah, that's definitely an important thing. I guess I was thinking more kind of in-game. I'll try and answer in-game. This sounds super basic and super stupid, but honestly, just how consistent they are at hitting the ball in a straight line. A lot of fans
hard, and hitting it hard too.
Yeah, hitting hard. A lot of casual players, the tweet suggested, just kind of sees the mechanics and the peak mechanics, but then they don't see do they have the peak mechanics? Great. Can they just not make a mistake? You know. So I think that's probably the only other thing, but I think casual players also see that, to be fair. So I don't think it's much in game that pros see. I think every pro has different ideas of what they like to look out for in certain players.
I agree.
I've always just liked very smooth, very mechanical players to kind of team with. And other people, I think you're slightly different, right?
I think floor. I look a lot of floor.
Right, yeah.
If this guy is playing at their worst, how bad are they? Because there are some players that are horrible, and there are some players that are still serviceable at their floor. I think MB is mad serviceable at his floor. I think Cheese is super serviceable at their floors. If they're playing the absolute worst they can, I still think they're pretty good players. So
we've had this conversation before, and I go the complete opposite way. I look for just pure peak and hope they basically reach it, and hopefully they do. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's easy. I think casual players can also see what pros look out for. Yeah. All right, go on.
There's a lot of new EU talent in NA this season. Any predictions for where they'll place? Is anyone ever touching the Jack Nolly record of winning a major after moving regions? The three teams are Team Evo Speed, Wave Arju, Strictly Business, Ixo Crispy Simas, and I don't know how to pronounce this word.
Crystal Stand.
Yeah, thank you. Jazzy, PZY, and they have an NA player, Hazer, that I actually really like. You're a EU. You know these guys. Go on.
Yeah, so Wave, Speed, and Arju, they're going to be now that Pioneers haven't made the region, I think it opens up a spot in the top 10. Maybe I was kind of pushing them into the top 10, being wrong anyway. But I do think that all of these teams can be top 10, honestly. I think that Wave, Speed, and Arju, I think that Speed can really genuinely play well, which is insane. He's been around for a long time. He genuinely can play very, very well. I think that I don't know this. If I had to rate all these teams, I like PZY. I don't know how to say his name. Zai. I like Zai a lot.
I do too. I like Jazzy and Hazel as well. I like that team a lot.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good. I think they showed they're pretty good in the qualifier, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
But Strictly Business, Ixo, Crispy, and CMAS. I like that team. I think they're going to be top 10 now. I think that the Germans or Austrians kind of team, the Wurstel Stand team, I think they're German and Austrian, if I'm not wrong. But
PZY is Austrian. I don't know about Jazzy.
Yeah, I think Jazzy's German. But anyway, I think that they will be top 12, maybe pushing into top 10, maybe even higher if they peak.
Really?
Because I think I just think that they if you're picking any team to absolutely peak, right? They probably have they're unproven, I guess, is the only thing that sorry, you can give to them. But maybe I'd still give it to that Strictly Business team. They're probably the highest peak. Team Evo, I don't know. I think they're all floating around similar levels. I think
I agree.
The Germans will naturally have a lower floor, maybe a higher peak eventually. But yeah, I don't think anyone's ever gonna move regions and win a major straight away.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous. But I will say these 3 teams, all 3 of them made the regional. By the time of recording this video, we played the quals last night in NA. The Jazzy PZY team 3-0'd the Talk Evo team. Strictly Business beat NRG and they swept Space Station. And then Team Evo, I can't remember the results, but they were in our group and they did go through. I know they lost to Complexity. That's all I remember. They went game 5 OT with Complexity. I think the Strictly Business is the best of the 3. I don't think any of these teams make a major. We played Strictly Business last night. It was pretty smooth, but I could 100% see this team inside the top 8.
SSG
and NRG.
That can be a sneaky. Yeah,
they don't make a major. They don't make a major, but they make a top 8, and they will absolutely take series off top teams like they did in quals. You know, Jazzy, PZY, Hazel. I actually love this team. I'm a huge fan of Hazel's game. I'm a huge fan of PZY's game, and I think Jazzy's really good. I don't know a ton about him, but I would say Team Evo I have around 14th in NA, 15th in NA. Strictly Business I have around like 9-ish. And then the Jazzy PZY team, I'd say like somewhere around 11, personally.
I think that Strictly Business team could be like 7, 8. I know
I agree.
It's not crazy higher than yours. I like that SSG win. The NRG win, they clearly NRG would having an awful day, judging from all their results in that qualifier, right? I think that SSG win, it really shows that.
I completely disagree, to be honest. I think SSG is going to be the easiest, like, top or like middle to top pro team to take series off of. Like, that team, they're young. They have a super high ceiling, but their floor is unbelievably low. So we'll see.
I agree. I didn't mean it like that. I meant just like in terms of like the NRG win. You know, NRG aren't going to play at that level again. I don't think.
I see.
You know, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. SSG can. I kind of agree with you in a weird way. Anyway, let's go on to the next question.
Okay, my next 2 questions are both from the same person, and they're kind of in the same realm, so we'll kind of like squish them together. But which player do you think is getting overlooked this upcoming season? And the next question is going to be like kind of about the best in the world, so try and do like a lower rated player.
Overlooked.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I think there's a couple. I have 2 in NA, and if you want to go EU, that's cool. I think Chicago is getting overlooked. I think just because he's older, and you know, we are struggling with that team. That team is playing really well in scrims. I think 9 Lives are going to be, you know, one of the better teams in NA. I could see them making a major. I could see them making Worlds. I think Chicago is getting overlooked. I also think CRR is getting really overlooked, and that's kind of like a better one, but I think CRR is near the top of the region in NA. He is, I think, in my eyes, the best player in Complexity. I think Diaz is still struggling a little bit, and I think Razeball's insane. CRR is ridiculous. He is, I think, like pretty easily top 6, top 7 in NA.
Yeah, I've heard from a couple people that Diaz looks like he's still struggling, but
he needs a little bit more time.
Tournament. Yeah. I think, CRR, I could agree with that. In EU, I'm going to have to go to EU real quick. My teams. Let's
We can cut some empty space if you need it.
Yeah, cut some empty space. I don't know. I genuinely don't have a single person. I will give a shout out to Rizex, bro. That guy was
a baller.
Actually peaking,
He's
bro.
A baller.
Actually hard peaking against us. And just, I think in other series in the regional, I saw that he was playing insane. He dropped like 500 or like 470 points a game against us. He scored like 3 really nice goals. Super solid. Just like really, really good. So maybe him, I guess, is who I'll say for that one.
Fair enough. Okay. Next question, similar topic. Which player do you think will have the biggest jump in best player in the world convos?
Nas.
Okay, I like that one. I'm gonna go NA. Obviously, I'm biased towards Magic and Cheese. I think they're both gonna have.
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna be, you know, best player in the world, but I do think they'll have quite a big jump in player rankings. I will go with. I'm going to go with LJ. I think LJ's improved quite a bit this offseason, and he was already really high. Like, so I think there is an argument where if Ultimates come out and just ball, then LJ, you know, I could see him being the number 1 option on that team. And if they're number 1 NA and like taking people down on LAN, I could see it. I could see it for sure.
Yeah, no, LJ's
because last year's team just wasn't competitive enough. His team was good.
Yeah, but
they could make top 8s, and he was unreal, but they just weren't competitive enough to win anything. I think now you could maybe see it.
No, 100%. He still looked like you could say he was the best player in the world on that team, which is kind of insane. Yeah. Or at least like give a reasonable argument for a good couple of minutes on it. So, I see that one. I think you missed a question, by the way.
Did I?
Maybe you don't. It's the fifth one.
Sahil
Rathi.
Oh, yeah. I completely missed
skip that if you want.
Okay. No. I wanted to answer this one because we have completely different takes on it. Okay. AppJack has been pretty bullish on his take that a team that hasn't worked well and sticks for another year is going to do worse the next season. Always suggests making a change. We've seen you stick a lot of times. What are your thoughts on this? Love you, goat. Appreciate you, my boy. Go on. Because me and Jack have this conversation a ton.
Yeah. No, I do. I think that teams, we just typically have seen it in Rocket League. You know, that's all I've kind of based my opinion off of. We see teams breaking up all the time. I think that Rocket League is really, really hard to have a good environment in a team in a long time period. We see this time and time again. Now that all of these tournaments and all these seasons have gone by, we can now publicly say this, right? All the teams in the past, top 8 of worlds in the past 3 seasons, hated each other by the end of it.
Right.
Maybe not last season, honestly, but especially this season before, you had
I remember
BDS
Saudi every year because we would go to Saudi after Worlds and everyone would be chalked.
Yeah.
Literally everyone.
And it was a $2 million tournament that genuinely no one would scrim for and stuff because it is just teams didn't want to play with each other.
Yeah.
Teams of 3 players are really tough to work with because you typically will have
2 versus 1.
It's very easy to bounce around players that feel left out.
Yep.
So a player can become feeling left out really quickly, really easily, and it's tough to keep a strong mentality. I don't think we've seen it before. You guys have stuck for a long time. You guys have a great mentality. So you'll have to prove me wrong. That's what I'll say.
I will say
if I was a betting man,
go on. Continue. Finish that.
If I was a betting man, I wouldn't put money on any team sticking and doing better over the course of time than they did within their first 12 months.
Okay. I will say it has been done. It was a long time ago, but Season 8 to Season 9 G2 they were in promo relegation Season 8, and then Season 9 they were the best team in the world. Obviously a long time ago. But
no, I think it's valid. And I'll cut you off real quick just to because I think that they have a lot of comparisons in terms of mentality to you guys. They all loved each other, right? They were all very good friends from what I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see the comparison. Carry on, sorry.
I will say I think there are teams that get comfortable, and I think there are teams that they stick together, they trend downward, and they just stick, and it's okay, what are we doing? You can go to NRG in their dying years of the Garrett Justin Squishy team. They stuck for too long. They kept sucking. They were comfortable. They didn't grind the game. They didn't change anything. They just sucked, and they sucked, and they kept sucking, and then it blew up eventually. But I think with our team, we had a really good first split and a horrible second split. We had a good offseason with Shift Summer League. So there was definitely, and I'm not going to say there was obviously the roster rumors of, this offseason for us, and they were true. We looked at a roster change, and it didn't happen. And I think it's a difference in mentality with, are we going to get better? And I think we had that talk, and we were. We tried to get Chronic, and once that failed, it's not like we went out looking for someone else over Cheese. We're okay, we believe we can get better than Cheese, and it's something we had to convince Gen G of. It was a lot of team talks we had. I like to keep most of my stuff in-house. I don't really like talking to other players or other people about, my team's problems, and my teammates are both really good at that as well. I think if everyone is pushing each other to still get better, then it can work. I think even if you suck for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, I think if everyone is working on actively getting better, and they are actively getting better, it can always be fixed. And, especially with, I love both my teammates. I love them to death. I would go to war with these guys forever if I could. Seriously, I would. These are 2 of my favorite teammates ever. And, I see both of them getting better every single day. I see myself getting better every day. I see both my coaches getting better every day. And I do think this is the strongest we've ever looked. And, we are 16 months since our inception. So I'm fully against Jack on that take. You know, Jack's my boy, and me and Jack have had this conversation a million times. Seriously, a million times. And we're completely, you know, on other sides of it. But I'm excited for the season. Really am.
I'm happy to that. I'm happy for you. I genuinely I think that if any team could do it, you guys, I'll give the biggest chance to, because you do have a different mentality for sure in your team. Like, I just don't see it. You see a lot of childish players. Call it childish or call it not even. It's not even childish. It's just the norm in Rocket League, in life, in people. And I think your team is different in that, and you do give each other a lot of. I don't know. You just like each other a lot. It's rare. It's very rare. So. I hope you can prove me wrong. Genuinely, I would be very happy to see that. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. So let's go on to the next question. Okay.
Right? This one I'm actually I'm gonna revise what he said a little bit. He says, "What's one player you would team with if you could in the prime of your career?" And I'm gonna kind of revise it and say, like, what's a player that like you almost teamed with that you kind of were like, wow, that would have been fun, or like you kind of like, you know.
Okay.
For me, it happened multiple times. I almost teamed with Atomic a couple times. During season X in the off season, and then after season 21. Before season X and after season X, both on Envy, and it was really close before season X. You know, like they had given me the spot. Last second, management bought Turbo away from his contract at NRG, I think it was. And then the other time wasn't as close, but it was still like in talks. I think Atomic is ridiculously talented. I think he loves the game. I think he has an awesome like brain for it. Like he's one of the smartest players in NA, I think. And that's one player that I was like, wow, like I think I would have so much fun playing with him.
Okay. Oh man, I've really been lucky. I've apart from like, I've always been fortunate with kind of. Actually, no, that's a lie. I had I did tryouts with CR and Relating Wave going into the 2022-23 season where I joined Gen G.
Bro, you won a major that season though.
Yeah, that would have been an EU team.
Okay.
Genuinely, we were gross in scrims. That's all I'll say. Like it was ridiculous, but obviously I would never change the decision. We won a major and it was an insane season.
Yeah.
I think. What's one player you hang on, give me a second because I literally
Take time. We can cut time.
It would just be. This is stupid because I eventually teamed with them. It would just be Nolly on Guild in the previous season.
Interesting.
I think it was because I was very close to joining that team. No, when would it have been? I think
wasn't he on Carmine the previous season?
No. That was so the previous season is in
21-22. He was Carmine.
Oh god, no! We tried out. We 100% tried out.
Maybe it was fall or something. I'm trying to remember.
No, I think it was going in. Oh, it was RCSX going into 21-22.
Okay.
It was RCSX going into 21-22, and it would have been him and Devo. And I thought we were really good together, and it was we were trying out for that. It was. Do you remember that like Intel World Cup tournament?
Yeah, I do.
So it was like the FIFA World Cup kind of tournament before it happened. Did it eventually happen? I don't know.
No, the LAN got cancelled, but they still held it online.
Yeah, they ended up playing with Archie instead of me for that, and
twice.
We were playing. I thought really good together. I was very surprised they changed it up.
Interesting.
I think it's because he was doing better in tournament and stuff. But so I thought that team could have been really good. But I eventually teamed with them and won, regionals and made lots of deep runs and a major. So it wasn't a bad decision in the end anyway.
Fair enough. All right, last question. Where do you want the next 3 lands to be that have not already been used before? So I'm just dreamland locations. For me, I want Paris really bad. We have been told we were playing there a million times over the last couple of years and it's never happened. I just really want to play there. I think playing a French team in a Paris crowd would be hilarious. It's so much fun. I would love a New York LAN. I think an NYC LAN would be awesome. I think it'd be insane. And then I would actually love a LAN in Brazil. I think like South America has some of the most passionate fans, and I think like all the Brazilian LANs and other esports are always so like they're so sick.
Yeah, they do. I've always said like Brazil is just not a place. I just don't want to go to Brazil, honestly. Like I don't.
Fair enough.
And a lot of places in South America, I'm not like a fan of visiting, honestly, from what I've heard. From other lands, other esports, and other esports players that have been to
There's
them,
definitely been some drama from them, but
Yeah, I'm not.
It's just so passionate over there. Passion is fun,
No,
dude.
for sure, though.
I love it. I love it.
No, 100%. No, their fans deserve it. That's what I will say. France, of course, they have the biggest community in Rocket League. They actually are bigger, I think, than like the English speaking,
which is crazy.
At this point. They're ridiculous. Like it's France is Rocket League at this point. So we need a France LAN. A Paris LAN in particular would be great, but honestly, any city in France.
Yeah.
At this point, we'd take it all. I don't have any other places, man. Like
France number one for you?
I don't know. Yeah, it has to be France and France only. Like if you're not, if it costs, you know, double the production cost to run a LAN in Paris than it would to run a LAN in London, for example, you have to do it. I think. Like, and it's very easy for us to sit here and say that
we're not paying for it.
Without having to, pay the burden. But I think it would still be worth it. Like, I couldn't imagine a world where a Paris LAN isn't the greatest LAN in Rocket League history. So yeah, that's my number one. I'm only saying that one because I think it trumps all of them by a mile.
Respect. All right. Well, that was our last question, boys. Nice little video. 26 minutes. We'll take it. If you guys have any opinions on the stuff we answer, put them in the comments. Jack, I appreciate you. We may be 4,000 miles away, but we're still trying to make that content. So, boys, we will see you guys next time. Peace out.